in lack of sleep, and it manifested in my gastrointestinal system going for a 6. Now, before that, I was quite a strong, physiologically, quite a strong person. Now, I understood it intellectually. I was trained in it, but I couldn't control it. I couldn't manage. So the thing is, you can read about it, you can understand it intellectually, cognitively. You read all the theories of fear and anxiety, you read all the coping mechanisms, but you don't seem to just understand and apply and cope. It's not possible. And that makes you feel more angry. Why can't you? Where is your understanding and how is it helping? And therefore, and I also decided not to take medication. Now today, I think if you are more enlightened and if you go to a medical specialist, even the family members, there is no stigma attached to anxiety and even to mental disorders like depression or any other disorder. But I'm talking about 20 years ago. This country perhaps was not so enlightened and society was still judgmental. I think there's been 1.5. So, and this can happen to you at work also. This can happen in any situation. This kind of fear of failure at work, this kind of personal health issues arising out of unmitigated high pressure and stress, this is not only connected with a personal tragedy. Not able to control your aspirations, not giving it a realistic framework. I was helpless. I didn't know what to do. And many times, even in work organizations, even in communities and societies, people don't know what to do with it. And people don't talk about it. And people tend to solve it themselves and tend to live with it till it goes out of hand. I spoke to my boss at that time. And I said, well, this is happening. And then I thought that there is a continuum of, you see, there is a very beautiful continuum of intellectual activity. It starts with data. Today, there is a lot of tendency in organizations, even in all analytical sciences, looking at realistic data on the ground, which is a beautiful thing, which has to be done to manage complexity, trends, themes, forecasts, scenarios. This is required to run all kinds of organizations, even family, even planning for your career. So there is data, then that data is interpreted when you understand what is the meaning and what are the trends and what are the broader themes. Then the information is connected, certain deep dive is made, and you come out with a plethora of knowledge about that area or about that discipline. You construct models, constructs, concepts, principles, theories. So this is more to do with the analytical, intellectual, cognitive activity. Then there is something which goes beyond this. And there is the entire aspect of wisdom. Wisdom is not, all of it is not based on data and information that is available at that moment. And wisdom can reside in a younger person. It can reside in an older person, person of any class, creed, any kind of educational background. Wisdom comes out of sheer experience of life and a lot of work with the self. So I thought that I need some wise advice. And I met a very renowned person at the Chinmayanand mission. And I'm coming to the point, what helped me manage anxiety and stress was not all my knowledge of anxiety and stress, the contemporary analysis of anxiety and stress, but what helped me manage is what he stated, Swami Nikhlayanand. And I'm not suggesting that everybody goes to a Swami. You can go to a counselor, you can go to a coach, you can get advice from your boss, you can get same kind of guidance and same kind of enlightenment from even a younger person. But I went to him and he said, I asked him a question. I said, why has this happened? So he said, well, I don't have any answers. He said, what do you do with the past? And these are some priceless insights that I got, which I had not got and which my education had not given me, which perhaps my work experience of so many years had not given me. He says, what can be done with the past? Can you do anything? I looked at him and he said, two things can be done with the past. You can learn from your success and failure. And this learning helps you to manage a failure or to manage a catastrophe or to manage a situation which is evoking so much of grief and fear and pain and loss and unfulfilled aspirations. Whatever you can do with the past is to introspect, and that is the process, objectively, and to learn from your successes and failures. And that learning will help you manage your anxious present and future. He says, the future is not in your control. Everything you cannot. You can only plan a little about the future. And as life and organizations and the economy and technology becomes more and more complex, more and more planning is required, but that planning can never be complete. So the question about understanding the future completely is not a very intelligent question. You can only plan for the little bit for the future, and by little bit means, the degrees differ. If you're planning success of an organization or success of a government, you have to do a hell of a lot of planning. But one didn't plan for the pandemic. One couldn't even visualize that it's going to hit us. So he said that future does not actually exist. The next second becomes the future. The next second is the future. So this visualization of the future, the envisioning of the future has to keep in mind this. And he said, what can actually be done is to learn to focus in the moment. And if you learn to focus in the moment, then by bit anxiety that you are experiencing. And the last thing that he said was that please understand that nobody has control over the life of anybody. If a boss feels that I can control the career and the life of my subordinate, that person is living in a false reality.